This is episode 4 in our missile build series. I have a feeling we might start this thing. Let's get into it.
We had some super janky switches with twisty wires for the fuel pump and the fan. And the fan wiring was actually, believe it or not, run straight from the fan, over the shock tower, through underneath this fender, and right through the door. Obviously, that's not gonna work. So we went on eBay and we found ourselves a nice 3-switch panel. It looks kind of like this, and it's kind of got standard rocker switches, as well as our voltmeter, and this has 2 USB ports. It's pretty cool, and we're gonna go ahead and fit it up in a nice custom panel in our dash here. And decided where we're gonna put it, but this piece basically pops into the dash where all the AC stuff and the stock stereo and everything was. So we're gonna go ahead and trim everything off real nicely here, clean that up, maybe fix this crack here, and then we're gonna make a panel that basically encompasses all of this here. We'll probably get rid of this center support and just make it one solid panel, and this should look pretty sharp. So let's get going. All right, so we got this thing all tied back together. It's not as pretty on the back side, but I went a coat over the front side to fill that crack. So now we can start to make our filler panel here, and then we'll get our switch pad mounted, and then we're off to the races. So I've decided to do something a little different, a little fun. I've got this, and I believe it's 1/4-inch thick polycarbonate. We ordered samples for another project, and so we've got those samples laying around. Something really fun. It'll be different, and hopefully it'll work out good. All right, so we got it all drilled up, trimmed. Basically, I'm just using 4 1032s as mounts. Our switch panel taken apart, which turned into a pain in the ass, but we're basically gonna get this centered up, get it marked, drilled, and then trim it out to fit all the switches and everything in it. So this next part makes me a little nervous. We have this almost flawless Sylvia dash. But this thing is beautiful, guys. You don't find dashes like this from the 90s that have been transferred into another vehicle.
Let us know like if right-hand drive ones are generally less cracked, because I just know with the left-hand drive, they're all cracked. But is it the same with right-hand drive, or did they do something different? Like, is, you know, like different material or something weird? I don't know.
I'm gonna go ahead and trim out a whole bunch of this in here to get our new panel to fit, which is looking pretty good, guys. It's looking pretty good. Obviously, we have to paint the outside here, but so let's get the trimming. So I got the dash back in, and guys, this panel looks sick. What do you guys think?
So the next piece to the puzzle is it's time for exhaust, because I don't know. Somebody thought it was super sick to just leave this wide open. They call it a turbo outlet. I would call it a downpipe, but I don't know. 240s are different, I guess. So we got this Manzo downpipe, So that'll go from your turbo outlet to a cap back, $72 on eBay. And that was the cheapest one I could find. And it had the flex and decent welds on it. So we're pumped on that. And then, oh baby, got ourselves an ISR catback exhaust. So it comes with your mid pipe. So that goes from the downpipe to what would be considered like an axle back exhaust. No muffler.
Oh baby.
Big old blasting pipe. That was $292 shipped. That's the cheapest I could find it on eBay. So really, all in, not bad. This is the dual 3-inch. They make a dual 4-inch as well, but I just feel like dual 4-inch wouldn't look all that great sticking out of there. So this should be sick. This bracket is interesting to me.
It's supposed to go, I think, to like the stock tranny mount or something like that.
Nobody knows.
All right, the next thing that we are going to be installing, a battery box. For safety's sake, we're going to enclose the battery in a sealed box. We got this one from, you guessed it, eBay. This one was 94 bucks. Not too bad for, you know, safety's sake. And it has these nice pass-throughs for your cables, as well as a couple of hold downs and a top mount hold down. So these will thread up through here, through the holes in the top and the bottom of the box, and help to secure everything together. We went with an AC Delco AGM battery. These batteries are maintenance free. These guys basically hold their charge a lot better than your standard flooded battery or liquid filled lead acid battery. So the only problem we're running into with such a small battery, as we're trying to save some weight, is the width of our hold down. So you can see that we've got quite a bit of extra room here. So I may make another piece to go on top of this so that we can still maintain our width to go through both holes here. So we'll run into that problem when we get to it. First, let's get this battery box mounted in the trunk. You typically want to mount your battery on the opposite side in the trunk of your driver's seat. This AC Delco Advantage AGM out of the Toyota Prius was $187. You could go with your standard Walmart brand. Those are typically going to be bigger lead acid batteries, and that's fine. Now that we have the bottom of the box installed, we're going to go ahead and drill the hole here for one of the long catches here. And we'll get that locked in there.
We recommended this battery because it was the one we used in the Laurel, and I like how lightweight it is and stuff. But it has these smaller terminals. There's spacers on them right now. We're always able to find Japanese spec things and all that kind of stuff. But we spent hours and hours. They're called JIS or pencil posts. We spent hours trying to find like terminals like that. People advertised that they're the right size. They weren't. We ordered a couple. So we just kind of gave up and got these little spacers. I don't know, I'm kind of bummed. I kind of want to go on the search. If I end up finding the Japanese terminals, we'll post them up on Instagram because some of you might be wondering. But yeah, this should work pretty well. We can finally get this polished up.
The next item on the list. Bum, 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 bum. This beautiful piece here. Now, this is a Part Shop Max. What do they call it?
High mount intercooler.
High mount. So it looks like this car has had something similar on it before, because someone cut these god-awful jagged holes. We're gonna go ahead and just use those holes the way they are and try not to touch anything.
Couple of things about the PBM high mount intercooler. We paid for it, by the way, guys. It's $485 shipped, same price that you guys can get it for. The reason why this is so nice for a missile is because it's tucked all the way up there. So you have to think about when you're learning, especially high curbs, things like that. And then going forward, when you're tandeming, getting close on front clipping points, all that, this is so much safer. It does not come with a provision for a blow-off valve. You guys don't need a blow-off valve. That's a myth. Go look it up. In our opinion, and Part Shop Mac's opinion, doing a high mount intercooler is definitely worth budget on your missile car. So that's why we did it, and I think it's gonna be really nice.
After bolting it up and kind of seeing how it sits when it's fully bolted up with some spacing in between the core support and the top of the intercooler, I need to do a little trimming here, and then while I'm at it, I'm gonna kind of clean up these holes a little bit. Somebody did a nice job. All right, I really like where it's sitting now. And this had a bunch of jagged edges, but now you can run your finger along it and it's nice and safe. Then we'll start running all our piping. But looks pretty damn good. Well, there she is. So moving on. Next part on the list, we just received this today. Bam. eBay, 38 bucks. Fully TIG welded, aluminum, power steering fluid reservoir. This car doesn't have a built-on reservoir on the pump, so we needed something remote since they took off all the power steering components for no reason. I'm gonna try and find a nice place to mount this, and then I think Matt wants to paint it. Seeing as how our pump is on this side, the obvious choice is this general vicinity here. My first idea is to kind of set that baby right in there. I think it should work out pretty good. So let's see if we can figure out a mount to get that thing up there. All right, so Matt has finished painting our power steering reservoir. Looks really good. We just went with black. The bare aluminum was really nice, but it didn't really match anything, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this all installed. This is the final bracket, by the way. Nice and strong. We'll get this bolted in and hopefully get some power steering parts soon so that we can get that hooked up. The pressure line that came with the car when we bought the car, it was sitting in the trunk, and we were told that it was taken off the car and, you know, not used. That apparently was untrue because that power steering line doesn't even come close to reaching the right-hand drive. So regardless, we had to order a new power steering line. So
I'm super pumped on that. I don't know if you guys saw this yet, but nice little sticker on there. It's looking really good, my God. I'm pumped.
hey, it's me, that guy, that one guy at the shop. Hey, so we're gonna go ahead and give this thing a try. I finished up the wiring, so we're gonna test our switch panel and see if everything works. Oh! Sick.
Fuel pump.
Man.
This is a mystery switch. I got USB too. Anybody want to talk about it? And charge your phone or your missile car?
3 amperes.
It's a slight flex. Alrighty. Fuel.
Give her hell.